So, what exactly is person-centered planning? According to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, it is a process that is directed by the participant, your son or daughter, and is meant to identify their strengths, preferences, needs, and desired outcomes. This is a major shift away from older models where plans were often driven by providers and caregivers. When I would attend IEP meetings, I'd love to use the analogy of who is driving the bus when discussing visions and goals. When our kids are young, we, as parents, along with teachers and providers, tend to be the ones in the driver's seat. We make the big decisions about goals and services, but as they get older, that has to shift. In Massachusetts, for example, that shift gets very real at age 14. At that age, your child must legally be invited to their own IEP meetings and transition planning officially begins. If we look at how IDEA is currently written, Section 300.43 lists transition services. One area that I would like to highlight is the section where they state transition services are based on the individual child's needs, taking into account the child's strengths, preferences, and interests. It includes instruction, related services, community experiences, the development of employment and other post school adult living objectives, and if appropriate, acquisition of daily living skills and provisions of a functional vocational evaluation. This is the perfect time for the student to start moving into the driver's seat. We, the parents and professionals, are still on the bus, but our roles change. We're there to provide the roadmap, point out potential obstacles, and help reroute when needed to get them where they want to go. Having this plan becomes incredibly helpful when transitioning from the school system into adult services because it keeps the entire team focused on your child's goals. Those goals often fall under what are called the three pillars of transition planning, which are education and training, employment, and independent living. This person centered plan becomes the foundation for their individual support plan, or ISP, in the adult world. So, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? The good news is you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are several amazing free models you can use as a framework. Let's talk about a few of my favorites. So, while these are not the only plans that you can use, for the sake of time, we're going to highlight these three: Charting the Life Course, the Path and Maps method, and the I'm Determined method. For more information on person centered planning, you can visit my website where I did a post called Transition 101, number 5, Empowering Individuals Achieving Goals Through Person Centered Planning, and I will list a link for that in the show notes. The first plan I want to talk to is called Charting the Life Course. This is a framework I first learned about at the ARC of Massachusetts Transition Conference many, many years ago. The materials are available for free on their website, and this is a process that we have used to help my son El create his person centered plan. It was developed by the Institute for Human Development at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. The framework helps individuals and families create a vision for a good life and identify the supports needed to achieve it. The best part? Their website has free video tutorials, and all of the handouts are free to download. One of its core tools is a visual one-page document that helps organize supports across different areas of life like technology, personal strengths, relationships, and community resources. The next person-centered tool is the PATH method. PATH, P-A-T-H, is a creative planning process that does something really interesting. It starts in the future and works backward. The first step is to identify the North Star, the person's ultimate dream or goal. From there, you work backward through steps like generating a vision, grounding yourself in the now, and identifying the first bold steps you need to take. It's a powerful way to build a hopeful path forward. A similar tool to paths is the MAPS method, M-A-P-S. It is also a visual storyboard-based method. The MAPS process is about listening to a person's dreams, acknowledging their nightmares or fears, and building a rich portrait of their unique gifts and talents. The center of the map is the person's story, and from there you map out their dream, their fears, their contributions, and what it will take to move forward. Finally, I want to mention the I'm Determined program. This is a project funded by the Virginia Department of Education that focuses on providing direct instruction and practice in skills related to self-determined behavior. Its goal is to help youth, especially those with disabilities, take control and steer the course rather than remaining a silent passenger. They have fantastic resources like a goal plan worksheet that walks a person through defining their goal, outcomes, next steps, and who can support them. Resources for all of these plans will be listed in the show notes. If you're more of a visual person, you can also take a look at the YouTube video where I'm showing slides that give a little bit more information on these programs. Now, for many of our kids, the idea of directing this process can feel overwhelming. This is where assistive technology, or AT, can be a game changer. Pairing person-centered planning with AT can empower students to shape their futures with confidence. Transition plans need to address how a student's assistive technology will transfer from school to their post-secondary life. This includes thinking about equipment, training, and funding. But beyond transferring the tech, we can use it to help them create their person-centered plan in the first place. Let me give you some concrete examples. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you will be able to see screenshots of what I'm talking about. I'll also put links in the show notes for all of these assistive technology tools that I'm talking about. So this first image is showing the integrated STAR worksheet that is part of charting the life course. Instead of struggling with a pen, your child could use an app like SnapType Pro, shown here, on the iPad to take a picture of the worksheet. From there, the student can insert text boxes, and they can either type or use speech to text to dictate their answers. They can move the boxes around within the worksheet so it's not locked into place. When they're finished, students can export the worksheet either into their Google Drive or they can print it. For the MAPS method, which is about telling a story, a student could use a program like Clicker. Clicker is a writing program used for students that are considered emergent writers. Their program focuses on using grids and word banks to help students formulate their sentences. In addition to the word banks, it also provides other writing supports like word prediction, text-to-speech, and images associated with the text to help students build sentences and express their ideas. For the PATH method, you could use an app like Book Creator to make a multimedia digital book. This can include pictures, text, audio recording, and videos, so students can use that to map out the steps from their North Star dream back to today. For the I'm Determined goal plan, A student could use the app Notability or a PDF reader like OrbitNote to fill out the form digitally. And of course, for students who are nonverbal, their AAC devices are their voice in this process. Don't forget about the built-in accessibility features on the devices you already have. Whether it's an iPad, Chromebook, or Microsoft computer, these tools are there to make sure every student can meaningfully participate. So, what's the main takeaway from all of this? No matter which method you choose, the most important thing is to ensure your child's voice is the primary driver of their plan. I want to leave you with a call to action. You now have the tools and the models, so it's time to put them into action. 1. Start today. Introduce one of these person-centered planning models to your child and your family. 2. Incorporate assistive technology. Find the right tools so your child can actively and meaningfully participate in their own planning. And 3. Champion their voice. In every single IEP and ISP meeting, make sure they are the driver of their own future. Remember, the future belongs to our students. Let's help them claim it. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode. What action steps can you take away from this episode? Share them in the comments section. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe, tell a friend, and leave a review. Until next week, let's continue to support and honor each other on our unique family journeys.